Welcome back to Zero to Fuel Tycoon, the series in which I'm going from zero risk into becoming a known entity for fuel production in EVE Online. These are the stats for the company Ardco from the last week, and as you can see, a lot of stuff has been going on. Firstly, you can see when our assets plummeted. This is when we took out the big fuel block order, and then we shipped it across New Eden, we put up a contract, and then we finally made a sale. So this contract was for 1.7 billion. But you can see our wallet increasing from 2.8 to 5 billion. So this was not the only sale that we did. Because it was the turn of the month, we also had our monthly sales going through. So for the first time in Ardco's history, we have actually technically turned a profit. So we've had a higher liquidity than what we had from our investments. And pretty much straight away, we have invested that into new fuel block projects for our members. For me as a character, the last week, I've been doing a bit of trading, but the big thing is really here. This is when I realized I had 210 plex from, I guess, trying to buy Omega and not really getting the exact amounts. So I turned them in for ISK, and that gave me about 1 billion. And half of that I put into making a fashion statement, and I invested some and I used some for a few things you'll see in a bit. So last week in total we made 2.8 billion in sales, which is by far the best we've ever done in a week. And with this I have begun to increase the payout that our members get for each fuel block. I've increased it from 17k to 17,250 per fuel block. My end goal is far ahead in the future when we in Ardco have several different income streams. Eventually I want the profit on a fuel block to be split between the refiners and the haulers. So if a fuel block would be 21k, I want the refiners to have 19, and I think it's about 2k per fuel block for haulers. It's a long way down the road, but we're starting to make some steps towards it. And it's been a very good week in terms of recruitment for us. You can see by the graph that we're doing really well. We have Panzer who have joined with another alt. We have 2 new members in Marlboro Cowboy 1 and Raster Idiot who joined just last night. And then we have these 2 guys, the Ardco Technician and the Ardco Engineer. These 2 are my alts. So here we have them. My character in his very expensive outfit. And we have Ardco Technician in a not so expensive outfit and Ardco Engineer in the same outfit but with a kick-ass mustache. Since last episode I realized I did make a mistake. I never planned to set up another account because I don't really want to keep paying for that. But that means I cannot use these alts as sign-on alts. And we'll have a bit of a discussion about that later on in the episode, what I can do instead. So what I will use these 2 guys for will be in the beginning strictly for PI. And I've had some requests from some of our members that they're having a bit of trouble sourcing enriched uranium for their fuel blocks. So what I will do with all of my characters is to focus on the enriched uranium and provide it at, say, 90% GSL price to our members. So they can make a bit of a dent in their profit margins, and the money I make from that I'll put straight back into the corporation. For these guys, I created a skill plan that consists of basic planetary interaction, as well as some skills to get into a squad. It's about 18 days of training, so I did buy 1 multiple skill queue training thing, whatever they're called. And if I do some remapping, I should be able to finish both, or at least almost both, in a month. Now, I didn't tell you about the last member who joined, Phantom 409. And this new member signifies a big shift in Ardco's history, because Phantom is based in Caldari space. So that means we're now open for business in Caldari space. So at the moment we have Phantom 409 there, and our director Thor has relocated some of his alts back to his ancestral home. Now that we are splitting up into several branches, I'm not intending that people just stay in one branch if they want to move alts between, or 1 week they want to be in Caldari. That's absolutely fine. We haven't had the same luck in in location as we have done in the south, where we have access to nullsec. So these are strictly high-sec based operations. And we are located in the Forge with easy access to Jita. Our office is located in Vattuålen. So this area, even though it is close to Jita, it's a bit far off. So it is a calmer part of the Forge, but it's not as safe as we have it down in the south. But around this area, we have 5 high-sec ice belts. And Phantom has been operating in this area for a long time. He knows it well. He knows the best places to manufacture. He knows the ice belts. He recognizes the people around there. So we're really happy to have him. He'll be a really good starting point for any new members who want to be in Caldari space. So if you are in this area and you have been thinking about joining but didn't want to move all your stuff, this is your chance to join up with us. Now the initial steps is to, of course, build up a stockpile of all the different fuel blocks. And as we get along, more and more focus will be towards the nitrogen, and the same will happen down in Amar, where we will focus more and more on helium as time passes on, and our distribution network becomes more solidified. And speaking of the stockpiles, in just a few days, Phantom has been working really hard. So we already have 25k nitrogen and 10k helium and oxygen. So again, I've been very impressed. But this also means that we need to get some customers up in Caldari. So if you are a manufacturer that do reactions and you need fuel blocks, or if you have stations in the area and you need fuel for your stations, don't hesitate to ask us. We do Jita prices delivered to your doorstep. Now for the guys in the south, these are the last week's stockpiles after the big sale. And I have to say once again, I've been very impressed. You can see our stockpiles like plummeting almost to zero with all the monthly sales going out. And in just a few days, we've had, 25k heliums and almost 20k each of nitrogen and oxygen. So all the members are doing really well at the moment, and we're having really good momentum. And on the administrative side, we're trying to match that momentum. We have now set up our Alliance dashboard, or the corporation dashboard with the Alliance Alth. And with this, you can do tons of cool things. We're still experimenting a bit, seeing what we can actually do. So these mining taxes will probably be used for the hardcore mining ops, where we want to distribute the mined materials. We'll eventually put in some fittings and doctrines. It looks like we can use this to coordinate our distribution network. We can create a buyback program. And we can integrate this with Discord. There's tons of stuff we can do with this. I'd like to take credit for this, but this is mainly my director, Thor. He's into these kind of things, and I'm incredibly lucky to have him on the team, because I could never set this up. And after the last episode, I had a viewer reach out to me with some tips. And one thing that he said, I really liked, it resonated with me a lot. And if you remember, we discussed these hardcore mining ops, where hardcore will take some of the minerals, the mining foreman some, and members keep some. What he essentially said is that we should use these extra ores and do some in-house manufacturing of the ships and the equipment that we actually use when we mine ice and do the planetary industry. And I agree. And then I thought about it a little bit more. And I have a feeling that our members, we seem to attract people who like the industry side of things, obviously. And now that we are building a blueprint library and we have access to the buyback programs, we should set up our in-house manufacturing and have like a mechanic division. And I want to do a similar thing like we do with the fuel blocks, where we pay, say, 95% of Jita sell price to the mechanics or manufacturers, and then we can sell it back to the members at Jita sell prices. So if they need a new ship or they want to upgrade or whatever, they can get it at the same price as if they would travel to Jita. And Hardcore would make 5% profit of that as a sort of a tax for facilitating, providing the infrastructure for this to happen, and the mechanics would keep 95% of it. And again, then we can have sort of doctrine ships, we can have a little bit of specialized role when we mine. Maybe the porpoise could be fit purely for yield, or maybe you can have one that's a bit better at dealing with the rats or whatever. Now, all of this is a little bit ahead in the future. we still don't really have the liquidity to do like proper buyback programs and stuff. And that's, again, the hardcore mining ops will provide our second income stream, and I'm hoping to create a few other ones, because you have to remember we don't have any taxes. So I need to get creative and figure out little smart percentages here and there that we can put into the corporation while ensuring that our members make the most ISK. My goal is to provide a framework where the members can make as much ISK as possible while having fun. So with the realization that not only do I not want to have another account to pay for, even if I were to multi-box, I'm playing on a pretty bad laptop, so I don't think it could handle it. I can have trouble just single boxing in systems that have a lot of stuff in it, which means I can't do jump traders until I upgrade my computer, which I will do at some point. So then the question is, what should I focus my skills on? How can I help in the best way? And right now I think it is to just finish the ice processing. And I think that'll take me up to 84% efficiency. And then if I get the implant, I should get up to about 87 something. And this is out in all security, of course. And that means I can help the members to reprocess their materials so they can get more and they can produce more. And after that, I'm thinking, one part of me wants to really hammer down on like the sort of background or basic skills for haulers, and probably specifically related to my deep space transports, the Edmund Fitzgerald. So what I'm thinking is maybe I should finish all of these level 5s. Get the hull upgrades, get the energy grid upgrades. Maybe skip the missiles. I don't think I will need them. But like these here as well, like the navigation ones, and make it like a really good, or as good of a hauler as it can be. Especially here in navigation, I have some very low ones. I should definitely do it. But it also got me thinking a bit. Maybe I should, maybe not do jump freighters, but there are regular freighters. And these, of course, have absolutely gigantic cargo holds. Now, this isn't automatically a good thing. It's good, of course, that you can carry loads of stuff, but there are some things you have to be conscious about. So say that I buy an Avalanche, this freighter. We're interested in transporting essentially the regional isotopes or fuel blocks to other regions. A fuel block takes up 5 cubic meters. If I would fill up this freighter, that would have a cargo of about 9.2 billion ISK. From what I've read, that would make me an instant target. One of the unwritten rules of hauling is essentially to make you very unattractive to kill, because the gankers will lose more money killing you because they will get attacked by Concorde. I don't know what sort of values you should aim for in a freighter, but I think it's only around 1-2 billion. So 9.2 would be way too high. All right, then we look at the isotopes. They shouldn't be as big as the fuel blocks. They're not. But that means you can stuff a lot of them into the freighters, and the value skyrockets. So I should definitely not transport the isotopes in a freighter either. All right, but how about the ice that contains the isotopes? Is that better? Well, the ice is a lot bigger, and it is better than the fuel blocks. Now still, I think it's still too high if we were to fill a freighter to the brim. What you can do, obviously, is not fill it up completely. But then the question becomes, is it really worth using a freighter then? Now, I haven't done the math on this, but I have a feeling it would be something like this. For the fuel blocks, a deep space transport is probably a relatively good sort of a value to cargo hold ratio. For the isotopes, I think you want a blockade runner. But from what I can tell, because the gankers can't scan the blockade runner, they always kill them if they can get a hold of them. And then maybe it is actually worth putting the compressed ice in a freighter. But I actually don't know which would be the best. An idea could be also that we outsource this to... I know many people have told me to use PushX or Red Frog, but part of the fun for me is to figure out this in-house. So I can see maybe a couple of deep space transports could do higher volumes together. And maybe the isotopes could even go in smaller things like, I don't know, maybe as Sunesis or something like that. But these are just some speculations. Training up underlying agility skills especially wouldn't be bad for any of these. So I think after the reprocessing, I'll start chugging away at that. Now the weekly goals we had for this week. We wanted to finalize the mining ops, give some people the mining foreman roles, continue with the recruitment, and make the big sale. And I'd say we completed 2 of them. The recruitment is going well, and we made a sale. The mining ops we have days now. We're deciding what times people will be on. And I think regarding the mining foreman, I think it's probably better to just have a few mining ops, and we'll just see what people naturally step up instead of appointing it ahead. So for this week's goal, it will be to have the first mining op. And we currently have one for a US time zone and one for the EU time zone. Of course, this doesn't mean that you can't join the other one if you're online, but it's just to make sure that there will be mining ops for each time zone. And again, I want to continue with the recruitment, and I especially want to do some Caldari recruitment. I don't want to leave Phantom all alone up there. So again, if you've been in the area, you've been thinking about joining, but the move has been a big hurdle, just send me an in-game email or get on the Discord. And then the other goals. We need to find more customers now because we're producing a lot. So I'm going to use this video as a bit of an advertisement, of course, but I'll also do some more dedicated, especially in the Alliance. I've reached out to some people who I've known might be interested in fuel blocks. But maybe there are even like in-game channels for market and stuff that I could have a look at. Some of our members expressed an interest in doing some PvE, and I think it was especially level 4 mission running. And I thought that was a great idea. It's not really what we as Ardco intended to do, but I see the value in doing things together as a corp. It, of course, won't be something you have to do, but it'll be there if you want to do it. I'm no expert in this, but from what I could tell, it will be level 4 missions and then maybe exploring a bit of DAD sites in Nosek and wormholes. And I guess ratting and stuff like that could go into this as well. I'm not putting too much effort into organizing this myself because it's not really what Ardco is. But as I said, I see value in it, and all the loot and salvage is something that the people can use in their side projects for the other manufacturing, and the future mechanics will probably like it. So we'll try and provide the infrastructure for the people who want to do it. But I personally won't organize this. But I think it's a great idea, and eventually I would like to have, like, every day of the week there should be something going on. So we could have the missions Monday where the PvE takes place, and then maybe on the Tuesday we can do some exploration and gas huffing and stuff like that. On Wednesday we could have mining ops for the people who can't really make the 2 other mining ops. Thursday we can do whatever, and then we have the regular mining ops, and Sunday we can do little roams, and nothing's really set in stone. I would like for it to tie into at least people's side projects in sort of manufacturing way. But at the end of the day, it's really what the members want to do. But it's been quite an exciting week. A lot has been going on. A lot of momentum, many new things to explore, and all the members are doing really well. I'm super impressed by them. So now I have to go out and hunt some more customers. And that was everything for this week. I hope to see you again in the next one.